Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to the very first retail release for 2024. That's right, it's Son Goku GT. Well, GT because, well, he's from Dragonball GT. He is the little wee itty bitty Goku. If you haven't seen GT for some reason, maybe a new fan, Goku goes from big to small for reasons. Don't want to spoil it for you. But yeah, so this is the main version of Goku that we see throughout Dragon Ball GT. So he does have the end of Z design with the blue gi and all that goodness, which we'll check out soon. You have a box design, very standard for your normal retail release. Nice section of images on the back, base details on the front. But yeah, let's just pop him out and check out what he actually comes with. So this was, I think, 5,500-ish for his retail price. For the full details for exactly what it does come with and all that, do check out the link below for his reference page on Rockchala. You can check out the details for all the figures on there. Definitely an easy way to do it. But anyway, for this race, Goku in the center. We have additional here, but more of a wind-swept look. Perfect for that Kamehameha pose. And he comes with a brand new effect piece as well, so you can definitely combine the two for a cool pose. This effect is actually quite interesting, but we'll get a bit of a closer look at that a little bit later. Now for expressions, we have the base neutral smile, a bit more of a battle ready smile, teeth gritting, full on mouth open, shouting one, as you would expect from any Dragon Ball release. Now for hands, he definitely does come with quite a few pairs. Base finger spread, martial arts grip with the two fingers closed, another martial arts grip which is a little bit more loose, and then the hands for Kamehameha, and then the same hands but with a peg to attach to the key ball, so you can have a left or right one depending on the pose you want to go for. Now also he comes with the lower half of his gi again, so this is the base one, perfect for standing poses, but then he has one that has a little bit more of a flared look. So that is kind of good for a bit more of a dynamic pose, especially again when you compare it with the head and the blast for the ultimate Kamehameha pose. So yeah, definitely quite a bit with this figure. Often small figures don't come with much, but surprisingly Kid Goku is pretty stacked, which is great to see. But yeah, overall I'm glad he does come with a lot of stuff, especially that whole new key blast. But yeah, for now let's pop it out of the packaging, chuck him on the turntable, and we can take a look at the finish. So as Kid Goku swings around here on the turntable, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, damn, they could use this for a goat end, right? I think it's definitely looking really good in terms of proportions, and we'll see it a little bit later as well. He is a lot smaller than the Dragon Ball Kid Goku versions as well. So the whole sizing for this figure is reduced, and yeah, it's looking really good. I'm digging the blue and yellow. All this is just the base plastic colouring, but the painting for the wristband is looking nice with that pastel pink, and then the colour separation from the yellow on his pants with the white around the ankles, and then the black boots. And it also appears that the colouring from the chest, arms, neck, and all the face parts are all matching really well. Now that chest part there is painted in comparison, but I guess since it is a smaller body, it doesn't seem to stick out too much. A little bit of a difference from the chest to the neck, but is very subtle. Definitely not as noticeable as some other releases, so that is good to see. The joint on the shoulder definitely sticks out a little bit. But he is a small figure. I don't think it is too much of an issue, but definitely is one thing to point out. Anyway, let's take him off this and check out the articulation. So starting with the head, really good articulation going forward with the neck and head part there. That is 90% on just the head as well, but the neck will move subtly, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But the swivel action is very nice. Going back is limited, so it doesn't have much motion back, but that forward motion is fantastic. And you can also look down on the diagonal as well. So the range of motion in the forward and side motion areas is definitely really nice in this figure, and that feels really good actually. It definitely feels smooth. Now for the shoulder itself, the range up and down is nice. We also have a little bit mini butterfly joint, and he has a decent range of motion going forward. He can easily cross those arms over, which is great to see. And then same for going back. So even though this is a tiny figure, actually really nice range of motion. Everything does feel super smooth as well. The elbow joint there is, about what I would expect. A little bit more motion could have been nice, but again small. It does just have that single peg in there, so it's not the prettiest of joints though. The wrist peg is very standard, just on a smaller peg, but yeah, nice little range of motion there. Now coming into the chest area, we don't have any ab crunch there per se, because it is just one solid part, but going forward, very minimal on the front. You can kind of push forward a little bit, but yeah, basically no real ab crunch on this figure, but you can use the hip area to bend forward further. So it's not great, but not bad either. It is kind of what I expected from a tiny figure, but there's just something to keep in mind. The motion forward and back in the ab and chest area is almost non-existent, but he does swivel left and right, so that's okay. The front of his belt will swivel as well, which is awesome, and then this is a soft rubber, so it does move our way a little bit. He can basically do the splits, though it will kind of hinder it a little bit. There is a split, but it does kind of stop it a little bit. Going forward, not bad. The gear will kind of hit it. Going back, the butt flap is there, so he doesn't have any real motion backwards. Knee joint, not too bad. Again, very small joints in this figure, mainly a giant peg there. But at least the colour blends in pretty well. One thing I didn't notice, or I didn't point out earlier I should say, is he does have some weathering on the legs with a darker orange around the joint. So that is quite nice actually. It does kind of blend in well, and it does look quite good how we have the two different colours on the legs. Anyway, coming back to articulation, the ankle, single joint, a little bit of swivel. Again, for the most part the articulation on this figure is pretty minimal, but he is again a super tiny figure, so for the most part the shoulders are amazing actually. That went beyond my expectation, and same with the head going forward, that is very nice. The other areas definitely a lot more limited. Actually I should also point out you do get the thigh swivel as well, which is nice, but you know, I think you can probably get most poses out of this figure that you'd want, but just keep in mind you are going to be a little bit more limited compared to larger figures. But yeah, let's take a look at the different expressions that this figure comes with though. So yeah, the printing on the initial face is nice little smirk, and it looks really cool. It definitely does remind me of Goten though, which is cool, so I hope we get a Z version of Goten in the near future with this body. And the second face is Goku getting ready for battle. He's getting a little bit annoyed here with that the left side of his mouth coming out ever so slightly, and a bit of a frown appearing as well. So again, this one's nice. I like the subtle curvatures of the eyes, and again, yeah, the expression I feel like is pretty much spot on for this faceplate. Now the teeth gritting one, staple of any Dragon Ball figure, definitely looking good. You can imagine him kind of shouting out, or you know, charging up his Kamehameha effect with this one. And then finally the mouth open screaming one, you know, again, pair it or combo it with the previous face leading up while he's charging his attack, and then, you know, combine this with the windsurf here and effect blast for the full-on blast. But yeah, let's pop off the head and we can check out this faceplate with the other hair. Now to do that, the front bangs pop off. You can get access to the faceplate, which comes off like so, and then you can just easily pop the head off. Grab the second head, align the peg and the socket, it will just clip in, and then you can attach the faceplate like so, slot it in, and then the bangs pop on. So yeah, nice and easy to switch over, and it's definitely looking really cool. I love how we have the bangs coming down to the left, coming down to the right with the hair slipping off to the left, so everything's getting blown away, which is really cool. Now to take this to the next level, we want to switch off the waist, so we can just get him in a nice grip in the middle. That will pop off. That will give you access to the legs, and the two parts will slot off like so. Align the two holes. There's two different size rectangles that will slot in. The part of the belt goes over, and then you just line up with the peg hole and reattach. So we've got the parts on Goku already, switched off the hands, but we need to complete the key effect. So this Kamehameha effect is really cool, nice blue color with white on the top and bottom, and it has four, I guess, light beams coming off it. Now each one of these is the same, and it has a little bit ball socket, ball joint on it, and it just pops in. And the great thing about this is you can move them forward, back, twist them around, and try and then you can kind of get into whatever position you want, which is really cool. So I like the fact that this one is kind of an upgrade on previous blasts. It's something unique and different, and the benefit of that little ball joint is you can, you know, get them into a position you want. Sometimes it has been a bit hard trying to get it into the right pose, where sometimes one of these light beams will be in, you know, just the wrong position, or a position that is a little bit annoying to deal with. So this here definitely ups the versatility and usability of the blast. So anyway, I'll chuck this on Goku and we can take a closer look with him in a pose using it. Okay, so Kid Goku is set up here with a Kamehameha blast. I must say the upper range of articulation of arms definitely made this pose a lot easier than what I expected it to. And the limited range of motion in the chest and you know, lower portion of this body, it didn't actually hinder it at all. I haven't found any struggles with it so far, with that limited range of articulation compared to other figures. So yeah, that's definitely really good. I guess it's one of those things with a smaller body, and you don't need as much articulation compared to the bigger ones. Yeah, but overall the key blast is very nice. It's good that you can actually move these beams in and around to where you want them, which is nice. Definitely makes it a lot easier to pose, and actually quite fun. It just gives you one extra layer of playability with a figure as well. So we've got Goku in a basic martial arts pose here, and the main point I want to highlight are the hands. So we have one with the small finger and the next finger next to it completely close and closed into the hand, whereas the other hand is, they are separated a little bit. So very similar hands, but a little bit different. And it's actually nice to get that versatility. I can definitely imagine some really talented and clever stop motion people be able to use these hands together for some really nice smooth action, for some really cool badass martial arts, or, you know, general fighting stop motion videos. So looking forward to seeing some of those in the future. But yeah, definitely, you know, those hands and the lower gi paired with the windsurfed hair is really cool for this figure. Okay, so looking at Goku in this light, damn, he looks small. So obviously the GT Goku here, the Dragon Ball Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta for the other two Dragon Ball GT figures at the moment. So yeah, as you can see from this, the GT Goku is so much smaller than the Dragon Ball Goku, which is crazy to see. So it'd be really cool to see this style body for a Goten, Trunks and Gotenks release later on. I could probably see Gotenks being maybe a little bit bigger, especially with that Super Saiyan 3 here. But yeah, this body with a Goten figure, damn, that would be really cool. Even the recent Dragon Ball Super Pun kind of redone with this body would be really cool actually. Definitely is a better sizing. I know there's one big issue or complaint from a lot of people with the Pun figure last year, so yeah. I think the scaling and sizing of this Kid Goku is looking so good, but definitely let me know in the comments below what you think about the scaling for this release. So yeah, this brings us into the pros and cons for the Kid Goku release. And yeah, actually I love him. The scaling is great. The upper articulation for the head looking down and the shoulders is really good. I love the fact that we can actually swivel the belt. The lower articulation is definitely a little bit of a con. It is a lot more limited, especially with the torso or no ab crunch for this figure. However, in actual play use of the figure and actual application, you know, playing with it, posing, and so forth, I haven't really found it to be a huge limiting factor as of yet. So that is definitely a plus side. I think being a smaller figure, you don't need to go as extreme with the articulation to get the poses that you want, which is nice to see. The expressions are all good. I mean, it's your stock standard expression that every Dragon Ball figure basically comes with these days, so not much to say there. They are nice though. Awesome section of hands. The fact that we get the the full-on closed martial arts grip one and the slightly loose one as well is good. The swappable lower gi, the new Kamehameha effect is amazing. I really love it. It'd be nice with maybe 5 or 6, and maybe 5, light beams coming off it would be really cool. 4 is a little bit limited. It does look a little bit like a plane propeller at times, but besides that, it's really cool. So yeah, overall, retail release, another GT figure. Now after this, it will be Pun and Trunks, as they have already been shown off. But I know a lot of people are looking forward to a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I'm guessing he'll be way down the track, and maybe before then, hopefully we might get a villain or 2 as well. Personally, I really do want the Pata Pata brothers. As silly as it is to say that would be a fun addition to the line. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, who else do you want from the Dragonball GT line? Are you getting Kid Goku? Are you passing? Are you picking up the others? What do you like and don't like about this figure? But yeah, that is it for the review. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please, the usual like, subscribe, and share it around as well. And yeah, again, if you ever want to talk about figures, jump on Discord, link in the description. And same for, if you want figure details, go to rockchala.com. But yeah, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers!